Halo semua, kembali lagi di channel gua, tempat kalian-kalian yang ingin mengetahui atau mempelajari idiom-idiom bahasa Inggris. Nah, di video kali ini gua bakal ngebahas tentang idiom baju dan waktu. So, penasaran kan? Nah, tanpa basa-basi lagi, let's go. Alright, now idioms for time and clothes. So let's get into it. First, took his time. It means took the necessary time, didn't rush. For example, Julio took his time finishing his painting. He wanted to be perfect. Julio took his time finishing his painting. He wanted to be perfect. Next, time's up. Time's up. It mean you have no more time to complete the task. For example, time's up. I need you to give me an answer now. Time's up. I need you to give me an answer now. Alright, next, on time. On time. It means punctual. For example, Victoria is always on time for her English class. Victoria is always on time for her English class. Next, once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon. It means very rarely. For example, Juan only cooks at home once in a blue moon. One only cooks at home once in a blue moon. Next, you'll have to until the cows come home. Until the cows come home. It means an extremely long time. For example, you'll have to wait until the cows come home before you refixes your car. You'll have to wait until the cows come home before you fix your car. Alright, next, drag it on. Drag it on. It means lasted far too long. For example, that meeting really dragged on. Colm was almost asleep by the end. That meeting really dragged on. Colm was almost asleep by the end. Alright, next, wasting time. Wasting time. It means spending time in an unproductive way. For example, the teacher told Corey to stop wasting time on his phone. The teacher told Corey to stop wasting time on his phone. Alright, next, get a move on. Get a move on. It means hurry up. For example, we must get a move on, or we'll miss the start of the play. We must get a move on, or we'll miss the start of the play. Next, a drag. A drag. It means a boring experience that passes very slowly. For example, driving to work during rush hour is such a drag. The traffic's trouble. Driving to work during rush hour is such a drag. The traffic's terrible. Next, ages. Ages. It means a very long time. For example, it's been ages since I last went to the circus. I haven't been since I was a child. It's been ages since I last went to the circus. I haven't been since I was a child. Next, a feather in his cap. A feather in his cap. We continue the cloth idiom. A feather in his cap. It means an achievement to be proud of. For example, when Juan won the National Art Prize, it was a feather in his cap. When Juan won the National Art Prize, it was a feather in his cap. Next, handle him with kid gloves. Handle him with kid gloves. It means treat him very carefully or sensitively. Pedro's upset about failing the test. You'll have to handle him with kid gloves. Pedro's upset about failing the test. You'll have to handle him with kid gloves. Alright, next. I'll eat my hat. I'll eat my hat. It means I'll be amazed, but I doubt it will happen. For example, if Stephen wins the race, I'll eat my hat. If Stephen wins the race, I'll eat my hat. Next, I take my hat off too. I take my hat off too. It means I am very impressed with. For example, I take my hat off to Joe for collecting so much money for charity this year. I take my hat off to Joe for collecting so much money for charity this year. Next, old hat. Old hat, it means old-fashioned. For example, my daughter thinks my taste in music is really old hat. My daughter thinks my taste in music is really old hat. Next, hot under the collar. Hot under the collar. It means agitate and angry. For example, my boss got very hot under the collar when I handed my report in late. My boss got very hot under the collar when I handed my report in late. Next, cloak and dagger. Cloak and dagger. It means involving mystery, spying, or things that happen in secret. For example, the movie was a spy thriller with a lot of cloak and dagger action. The movie was a spy thriller with lot of cloak and dagger action. Next, up my sleeve. Up my sleeve. It means ready but not yet common knowledge. For example, our plan to improve sales didn't work, but I have a new plan up my sleeve. Next, has a bee in her bonnet. Has a bee in her bonnet. It means get very angry and annoyed. For example, Jane has a bee in her bonnet about people dropping litter on the sidewalk. Jane has a bee in her bonnet about people dropping litter on the sidewalk. Next, too big for his boot. Too big for his boots. It means arrogant or self-important. For example, Ian's become too big for his boots since his promotion. He always ignores me. Ian's become too big for his boots since his promotion. He always ignores me. And we entered the assignment session. Jadi di assignment di video kali ini kalian cukup menyatukan the beginnings of the sentence to the correct endings. For example, I take my hat off to Joe, blah blah blah, and the answer is for collecting so much money for charity this year. You got it? Right. Nice. So that's it, guys. Thank you for your watching. I hope you like it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. See you next video. Bye bye.